Alright guys, welcome back indeed to the channel. So today we're going to be going over all the best and rarest items for the Barbarian in Diablo 4. These are all data mined over here. If you guys haven't checked out part 1, definitely make sure you guys check out part 1 as it goes over all of the all classes ones. But this video we're just focusing in on the rarest items for the Barbarian. And let's go ahead and check them out. So starting right off, we have the Ramolandi's Magnum Opus. Oh, that's kind of like a thing from Diablo 3, right? The Magnum Opus set. Anyways, starting right off, this is a unique one-handed sword. So it says, skills using this weapon deal increased damage per point of fury you have, but you lose fury every second. Okay, that could be very interesting if you want to run any build that is only focused in around maybe not using any fury, as in you're just using your basic skills. As Barbarian with topazes can actually get an insane amount of damage from their basic skills in the game. But, I mean, heck, it can be used for everything. Barbarians actually have one of the best potentials to one-shot, and if you really want to do one-shot huge damage, this is going to be excellent for, like, you know, YouTube content creators. I'm sure they'll do this. But next up, we have a two-handed axe called the Ancient's Oath. Oh, this is awesome from, like, D2 the Ancients. Okay, so let's see what this does. The unique power, it says Steel Grasp launches 2 additional chains. Enemies hit by Steel Grasp are slowed for some sort of duration. It's actually pretty easy to slow. I believe Barb can just slow on bleed for any amount, and then at that point you basically have slow applied to everything, but hitting 2 additional like chains could be actually very valuable depending on what you are trying to build. But the whole slow thing, I mean, if this is like a huge amount of slow, if this slows something by like 90% in PvP, I could see it being very good. But in terms of slowing things for PvE, I don't know if it's going to be that great for, like, even if it has like 90% slow. I think it's just going to lose a little bit more value because you can apply slow very easy already, which usually is used to add more damage, but it's damage to slowed and vulnerable. Anyways, with the other properties, but the unique power is the main thing we're checking out. Keep in mind, everything is, of course, data mined, so things are subject to change here. But next up, we have the Hell Hammer. Oh, it almost reminds me of the Hellforge Hammer. Let's see if this is going to be any good, though. So its unique power over here, it says Upheaval ignites the ground, burning enemies for additional flat value of damage over a certain duration. Now, this could be actually pretty big. A lot of the huge hits with Barbarian, I believe, are done with Upheaval, so this could be one of the best things, especially if it says static value, but again, I don't know if this static value is multiplied towards some sort of other number in the game, but this could be, if once again, if you're like one of those YouTubers that likes to do like insane amounts of damage, yeah, this would be great for, like, you know, 10 million damage or whatever with Barbarian. This could be potentially good because Upheaval, again, it hits, I believe as right now, hits the hardest in the entire game. Next up, though, we have Overkill. It's a two-handed mace, and it says Death Blow creates a shockwave dealing some sort of percent of its base damage to enemies. Enemies who die by this effect also reset Death Blow's cooldown. This could be actually really big. Now, if you guys don't know what Death Blow does, I believe it's the skill where it actually hits pretty hard, and it has a relatively long cooldown, but if it kills a target, it has no cooldown. So if you're able to continuously release shockwaves, and anything that dies by it just resets the cooldown, you can just spam this. This could be actually a really good item for just cleaning up a bunch of the trash in the game with Barbarian, and then, yeah, you just kind of wait, and if you want to expend your fury, I mean, this could be pretty nice too, especially since this, I believe, doesn't even cost fury, it just has a longer cooldown. So these two will work very well with each other. Next up, though, we have Fields of Crimson, which is a two-handed sword, and it says, while using this weapon, damaging at least one enemy with Rupture creates a blood pool that inflicts bleeding damage over some sort of duration. Enemies standing in the pool take increased bleeding damage. This could be pretty good for bleed builds, as bleed builds are going to be very popular just to apply bleed, because bleed also applies a slow to the target. It's a really easy thing to get, and then that way you do more damage to like crowd controlled enemies in the game. So this could be another really good item. Remember, Barb can have 4 weapons, so you have a lot of options here. Next up, we have the unique amulet. This is called Battle Trance, and it says increase Frenzy's maximum stacks by some sort of value. While you have maximum Frenzy, your other skills grant plus increased attack speed. Okay, so this could be kind of cool. Like I mentioned before, with any build that wants to run topazes, the Battle Trance could be actually really good as well. Getting you more stacks can give you extra bonuses with Frenzy. Maybe you can make a Frenzy Barb at the end of the day from this, but it does say that increases the maximum stacks, which is going to be good for you, and on top top of that, other skills grant increased attack speed, so it's going to be really good for animation canceling as well, so I think that's really cool. Next up, we have these unique boots called the 100,000 steps. So what do these do? It says, after gaining the final damage bonus from the Walking Arsenal key passive, you automatically cast Ground Stomp and gain Fury. This cannot happen more than once every certain seconds. Now, again, like I mentioned before, if you have any like points into Ground Stomp, I believe all of the uniques and all the legendaries will count that special one. So whatever you have invested into Ground Stomp, if this is something that you can automatically activate and it doesn't have an animation, because Ground Stomp, I'm sure, like, you don't want to just randomly Ground Stomp, it's going to kind of mess you up, but being able to have some huge amount of damage and gain Fury, this could be pretty good. I don't know if there's any boots that are super important at the moment other than the Sorcerer ones that I don't know if it's just locked to the Sorcerers, but basically get increased damage based off of attack speed, which could be massive for Barbarian because the shouts can give you increased mobility as well. But these could be very good if you can just automatically have this activated. Again, if it forces your character to stop and do that Ground Stomp animation versus it just kind of like doing it, I'm trying to think of the best example for him. The best example would be like if one of your shadow clones does like your ability, right? Like if it just gets you a Ground Stomp for free and you're not essentially locked in that animation, because I could see it being like kind of counterproductive if it just kind of activates when, I guess, this thing activates. Maybe you can kind of control when that does, but at the end of the day, this could be very good for extra Fury generation. Next up, though, we have the Rage of Hargarth. Okay, so that was, that's pretty cool. That's like from Act 5, right? The area. Anyways, we have Lucky Hit up to a... I'm talking about Diablo 2, by the way, not Diablo 5. Or Diablo 4 Act 5. I'm talking about D2 Act 5. Anyways, it says a Lucky Hit up to a chance to reduce the cooldown of your non-ultimate skills by some sort of value when you inflict bleed on... on Elite. I mean, I'm guessing world bosses and any like pinnacle or like special bosses, these count as elites, but that could be really good. This could be one of the best. There's no real chess piece right now, right? Okay, so at the moment, these are going to be the best. This is best in slot for, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And it's just a chance. There's no internal cooldown on this, right? Unless there is, and it's just not mentioned in the wording here. But the reason why this is so big is because you can apply 1 damage of Thorns and apply Bleed on Thorns, and this could be just so amazingly good, because if you have any Thorns in your build and you do Bleed on enemies, you can stand in AoE and all that's just going to keep on activating rapidly. And on top of that, getting cooldown reduction, keep your shouts up. Shout Barbarians are going to be very good as some of the shouting abilities, from what I understand. I saw a great video by Yugioh that talked about it. Basically, you can have like permanent no damage taken. So that could be something that could be maybe game breaking. Again, that's if there is somehow no internal cooldown. You just stand in all the AoE and your cooldowns. This is kind of maybe an OP item here. Alright, next up though, we have the Gore's Devastating Grips. These are going to be a unique pair of gloves, and it says, Whirlwind explodes after it ends, dealing a value of its total base damage dealt to surrounding enemies as fire damage. Oh, that's basically like the Tempest. It's like the Coal Rune. If you play Diablo 3, that's like the Tempest Rush where you're trying to build up all these stacks and then you let go and it does a massive amount of damage. This could be really, really, really cool, especially if you, again, I think Barbarian is looking like to be the one-shot king. Like if you want to just one-shot things in the game, you know, for content creation, or just if you like to just see the biggest number in the game, Barbarian is just doing it. Like all the stuff is just giving you massive multipliers, and then on top of that, like if you're doing some sort of like, you know, boss and you have all of these things ticked in and then you do a massive you let go. Now, this is also the thing that I'm wondering. If you're able to keep your, you know, Fury generation up the whole time and you kill a bunch of monsters before you get to the world boss and you're continuously spinning, can you one-shot the world boss? I mean, it doesn't have some sort of like limit on it, right? It's after it ends, it does the total base amount of damage that you've been dealing to surrounding enemies. So what I'm thinking, it doesn't have a limit. It doesn't say like X amount of stacks or anything. So you just kill a bunch of things for maybe hours at a time. And, you know, I think that this would be funny to see maybe a world first one-shotting of world bosses, as it has no limit. I mean, that'll be really cool. And you can actually gain Fury, I think, with, there's a couple, like, there's like a ring or something that gives you, like, extra Fury generation. So it might be possible. Like, I really think that Barbarian is looking to be, like, the one-punch man of the game. But anyways, let me know what you think of the Barbarian uniques. I'm really most excited about this, because Like, I like creating content. I like seeing these crazy things. And if you can one-shot a world boss, that will be definitely on the top page, like, in terms of, like, you know, the talk of the town. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new and you want to see more Diablo stuff, as next we're going to be covering all of the legendaries in the game that we're down to mine. But take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.